Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to your reading. Um, I'm going to say this again every time. I'm not recording on my phone, I'm recording on my MacBook. So the picture quality is not going to be that great. However, that's not what we're here for. We're here for a reading, right? If this video just started playing in your algorithm, there's a message in here for you. If you've clicked on this video, there's a message in here for you. Trusting your resonance, okay? I know it's a little dark right now, but the sun went down and I just wanted to get this reading out, which is kind of going into what the message was before I pressed record, which was that we're heading into the dark side of the moon, okay? And so there's this feeling of darkness, shadow. Um, I'm getting that vibration, right? So there could be a lot of shadow work that's going on into your life right now, going into the depths of the unknown of your subconsciousness that you're bringing forth to the light. Um, I guess being acknowledged and working through those things. Okay. Um, Today I'm going to be using Divinations, the Energy Readers Oracle deck, to do the overarching. If you guys would like to purchase, hit me up on Instagram. Yeah, there was something else about, there's two things. One thing about accountability, right? Anything that you're experiencing right now has to do with your own resonance. Okay. You have to remember that everyone gets exactly what they want. Okay. Um, Not just what they want, what they are, where they are resonating at. Okay. So anything that you're not overcoming through any one of your chakras, it's going to set off a vibration, and that's what exactly the reality in which you're going to attract. Okay, there's no way around it. So anything that you are experiencing that's unpleasant, it's because you've made a choice to have that unpleasantness in your, what the heck? Okay. In your frequency. Oh man, I hope that recorded all that stuff. But either way, that's what the message was so far. Accountability. We're moving into the shadow, and anything that you're currently experiencing is what you have been, what the universe has blessed you with, right? I know a lot of people have made ranked. Shout out to all the people who made rank. Just shout out to everybody that's living the life in which they are choosing to create. Okay, in your own storyline. Okay, and purposely, because a lot of, I think the first the first couple I want to say decades, the first couple years of everyone's life, you kind of start creating a reality that you're not consciously aware that you're creating, right? And this comes from different thought forms that you have harbored inside of you. It comes from different things that others project onto you as well. Um, so just know that from this point forward, if you're watching this message, that you're now going to be consciously shaping your reality. You're consciously going to be aware of the thoughts that you carry inside of your mind, which thoughts you, when I say this, right? Which thoughts you decide to attach an energy signature to, emotions to, okay? But that is what's going to call in your reality, the reality that you want to experience, okay? So it behooves you to let go of anything that doesn't really serve the new reality in which you're creating. Okay, that's how you're going to make it through this new moon cycle, which I think is supposed to happen on Monday. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Okay, anything that you're not willing to let go, for example, any trauma from the past, any situation that has left your heart feeling heavy, um, this is the time to consciously shape and redirect. Okay. I know a lot when people go through this spiritual awakening or divine understanding, trying to gain understanding of what what we are here for, what's your purpose in life, and all that stuff. We go through these psychosis, right, where your spirit is longing for something and your reality doesn't match that. Okay, and so sometimes people get this triggered with different plant medicines. Some people genuinely, their spirit initiates them, right? Without any, it's just like something's not right. And then all of a sudden you start getting these dreams. All of a sudden you start hallucinating in real time. And when I say this hallucinations, I mean like what you're seeing is not your brain is getting having trouble conceptualizing the things that you're seeing in your current reality. Okay, and I don't dismiss those things. I actually think that that is the true eyesight. It's like when your spirit leaves your body, but you're actually conscious, and then you like see it, and you're like, "Whoa, where am I? Why am I here?" Okay, that's when that's when your spirit's actually pulling you to have a reality shift. Okay, I do recommend neuro knowledge. He's very good at allowing you to take back your perception, okay, and control of your reality. This way, you're not just on here like la la la, and not actually changing your physical reality to be shaped to how you're what you actually want in your heart of hearts. Okay. Now, the only pushback I would have with that is that that's automatically happening. Okay. But if you're in a cycle of hell, which he describes as a misalignment with what you truly want, meaning what you desire but can't you can't bridge the gap or get there because of self-limiting beliefs, or for what I would say is blocked chakras. um, he's very good at trying to reshape your brain and getting into the subconscious to help you reprogramming that. The only thing is I would look out for is that with his programming there is a lot of homoerotic stuff. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Okay, because I do take this stuff very seriously, and I know there's a lot of great deal of trust that we place in people who are accessing our subconscious mind. Okay, um, but just remember that if something's not actually in your heart, it's going to be harder to manifest. But there are some of us who are prone to be exposed to certain things, even if that may not be something you want to experience. Okay. Um, yes, I'm fully aware that there has been conditioning done to some of us that allows a paradigm of genocide for your DNA strand. Okay, so just be mindful of that. That's what I have seen with my own eyes, if I'm speaking truth to power. Okay, but other than that, try to take the things that are going to be beneficial for you. Okay, in shaping the reality. He has some really good stuff to unblock some of the things that are stopping you from getting there. Okay, now in my sight is that's already happening. Whatever your true resonance is, it's going to be the thing that magnetizes a reality into your situation. And if it's something that you don't like, um, that's when it's an opportunity for you to change. Okay, anytime you're meeting some kind of contrast in your reality, you're like, why is this happening? It's because it's giving you an opportunity to actually stay true to a true resonance. Okay, so if, for example, if you're trying to get away from having anxiety, and a situation comes up that's bringing a little bit more pressure onto you, how do you handle, what's your true frequency that in that scenario? Okay. Also, I'm fully aware when I'm doing these readings, I'm also reading myself. Okay. This channel is for I and I. Okay. I and I, if you understand what I'm saying, right? I am still part of the Ubuntu consciousness, meaning that I am, therefore we are. Okay. So anything that I'm saying to you is advice that I will be able to do for myself, live through for myself. Okay. Or else this is just for vanity's sake as well. Okay, and I like to live in truth as much as possible, like, as authentic as possible. So there's that. um Anything else before we get into the reading, guys? There's a mosquito. Okay, all right, let's go. God, creator of all things, known and unknown, please guide my vessel with this message on the highest possible frequency. But a divine alignment for all those involved, divine wisdom, power, and glory, I honor all those who've come before me, and divinely protected and respected from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet. Okay, so I just saw think positively about this, which is giving me that energy of even though we're about to go into the shadow, just make sure that you are holding good boundaries. I heard that too. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. So I pray for the best possible outcome for all those involved. I pray for the best possible outcome for all those involved. Okay, genuine spirit here. Okay, we also have my perspective is valuable. My perspective is valuable. Okay, and then we also have the answers, no, plain and simple. All right, so I just heard that you may be confronted with a situation that you're trying to be optimistic about. That's what I heard. I heard you're trying to be very optimistic about this situation, but I guess you have seen something in the shadow that it's hard for you to shake, right? When the shadow came over, you're like, I don't agree with this, and I don't want to align myself with this frequency or this entity that these 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 other people, a group of people, are supporting. Okay, so the plain answer is just no. Okay, so maintain that truth within the shadow. Okay, you may be tempted and just be like, oh, maybe I didn't see that, maybe I didn't understand that, maybe no, it was the truth. Okay, you need to believe people the first time when they show you who they are. Okay, that's an old frequency though. Okay, so just focus your time and energy and attention to where you want, what is that you want to bring forth. Okay, because that's the thing about the universe, is that everyone gets exactly what their hearts desire. Okay, it's just for you, don't give your power away to anybody else. You get to choose which realities you actually want to live in. Okay, and so if you've seen something in someone else's projected reality that does not align with your spirit, doesn't align with who you are on a foundational level, then you need to just, the answer is no. Okay, it's not about wishing ill on them. It's just they're not in alignment with the reality that you want to see flourish. Okay, it's very simple. It's very, very, very simple. All right, and some of us have ancestors that and just genetically bloodline linked to, okay, in our Akashic records, that are telling you straight up, this is who this person is, this is the bloodline that this person comes from, this is the playbook that these people are using once again, okay, to help to shape a certain reality. Okay, so don't get caught up in that bubble. Okay, and just remember, I pray for the best possible outcome for all those involved. Why do we do that? Okay, why do we do that? Because Ubuntu, I am, therefore we are. Okay, so whatever you wish onto others, you actually wish on yourself. Okay, I think Neuro talks about that as well, right? So it's I and I. All right, so um, in the different, I guess, realms of polarity, one has to exist for the other to exist. So for you to choose option A, option B has to actually exist. Okay, so cling to your perspective, say no to what does not align with your beliefs, and then just pray for the best possible outcome for everyone involved, because that's just what the blueprint is. Okay, anything else from this deck? And we're going to pull from the OG Psychic Tarot deck by Holland. Anything else? Okay, I did see anxiety. All right, and it says, do not take any action at this time or information will be revealed. I did see anxiety. And then lastly, we have conditional love. You may have found yourself in a situation where love comes with selfish expectations. Spirit calls for a deeper reflection at this time. If you are feeling trapped by entitled expectations, it's time to question the authenticity of that love connection. Are your acts of love sparked by ego or authenticity? Conducting acts of love for the sole benefit of recognition will overshadow the efforts to communicate true love, a love based in truth. Love with pure intentions for all involved. Use clarifying cards to determine if this energy comes from you or your partner. Remember, love is forgiving and kind. Okay, so I do feel this anxious energy. I think that's why I brought that thing up earlier. It could be anxious about something that you are. Okay, something will be revealed. That's what I just heard. And the answer is no, plain and simple. Okay. So I don't know if you're anxious about a union with someone, something that's supposed to, I guess, boost your ego. It's an egoic thing. So they keep showing me that this is something that's supposed to give you some kind of ego boost, some kind of it's an boost thing. But the answer is no, plain and simple. Do not take any action at this time, more information will be revealed. Do not take any action at this time, more information will be revealed. Yeah. Okay. So what I just heard was it was something that is going to be okay. So they're saying just relax. Okay, you're exhibiting this anxiety is turning into paranoia. Okay, to break the spell of paranoia, you can say, I do not react out of fear. I am safe and secure in my body. All actions are made toward my best possible timeline. Okay, I'll just read the card. Paranoia is an energy that hijacks the root chakra. It will threaten your presence in your own body by stripping away your sense of security. Though a threat may be present, feeding a thought form without tangible proof is pointless and depletes energy. Empower yourself with control over your actions in any situation. To break the spell of paranoia, you can say, I do not react out of fear. I am safe and secure in my body. All actions are made toward my best possible timeline. Okay. So, yeah, you need to take a breath. Okay. If there's isolation that you require, I do recommend you do this. Okay. You need to be in solitude and you need to be at peace. There needs to be, because I'm already feeling this kind of weird shakiness. Um, Not so much because I'm like in the heart of nature where there's like really deep grounding roots here. Okay. But the idea is that there's something that is feeding your ego that needs to be put to sleep. Okay. Your perspective is very valuable. Okay. But it's not the only one. I heard that. Um, this is why we pray for the best possible outcome for all those involved. Okay. If you don't genuinely love something, it will not bring forth fruits that you actually want to see. I want to say manifest, but become your reality. Okay. You will have a trouble from grabbing it from the ether and bringing it to the solidifying it here. Okay. And that goes back to what I was trying to say earlier in the beginning of this before I start pulling the cards was that you you you're going to bring forth a reality that's in true resonance with who you are. Okay. So it doesn't really matter what other people are doing or saying or whatever that case may be. Okay. So if you're in a situation where you are competing or something that's supposed to bring some kind of ego boost, and it's not something that you actually genuinely love, solitude. If it's bringing forth something that's not genuinely bringing forth love and passion to you, it's not igniting your spirit. It doesn't matter how far in that reality you go to, you're just going to come back to square one of just not even really I want to say caring about it, but it's not going to be fulfilling to you. Okay. And your perspective is very valuable. Okay. So if I'm speaking as your consciousness or your spirit right now, the answer is no, plain and simple. Do not take any action at this time. More information will be revealed. Okay. You need to not be in this state of anxiety or paranoia. Okay. And I know this is easier said than done. This is why I do recommend, like I said, go to Neuro Knowledge channel. He has helped me a lot when it came to balancing my throat chakra, I would say, and then basing my spirit back into like my reality, grounding back into my reality, and then making the according steps and actions required to actually fulfill the reality that I wanted to see. Okay, and I'm actually living some of that right now. Okay, there's more to come, but there's more to be revealed, like I said. But that's the this part has been completed. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Okay. Okay, I heard remember love is forgiving and kind. Okay, in your solitude, work on that little bit of forgiveness. Okay, so if there was a opposition, if there was an ego war, right, between you and someone else, just there should be no animosity, right? Remember, we wish well unto others, so we wish well onto ourselves. Okay. Okay, so we have the Nine of Wands as well as the Two of Wands. Is this supposed to be here like this? Okay. So what they're saying is any action taken forth at this point is going to bring a resonance of I don't want to say suffering, but a resonance that is lackluster. Okay. It's going to be like the wounded warrior scenario. Okay. You need to recoup and you need to heal. This is why solitude is what's being asked for. Solitude, gratitude, and then having, like, try your best not to be in any this egoic state of mind. Okay. I know me just saying this is not going to help you. Really, this is what you really need is like a detox. You need to be grounded. You need to like breathe. I'm feeling that. Okay. I think because you're caught up in this, it's feeling like an acceptance letter situation. That's what I'm feeling. It's feeling like, is this person going to accept me? Is this school going to accept me? Am I going to get the job offer? It's this kind of season where I guess things are getting, people are reaping what has been sown. So just be mindful of the paranoia part, okay? And whether or not this is actually feeding your spirit. Is what you're even waiting for feeding your spirit? Okay. Okay. They're asking for balance. We have the balance card, which is the justice card. Um, life is about balance. Yes, life is about balance. Okay. So, yeah. So the other thing is about trusting your, okay, well, it says destiny here, destiny, right? It's like trusting divine timing. It's like, all right. So what you also learn from neuro knowledge, again, a good plug for those who are very practical in thinking. Um, again, just be mindful of the homosexual little seeds planted in the subconsciousness. Um, homoerotic is really the word I want to say. Um, you need to be mindful that balance, balance. Okay. Yeah, they're trying to get the wands balance. That's what they keep showing me. The wands, they keep showing me the balancing. Or we, should I say, we are seeing the balance of the passions. Okay. What you learn from this page is what you need to love the things that you're putting out. If you don't love it, it's not going to bring forth the fruit that you want to see. Okay. Another thing is, if anything that you're creating or planting with the seeds of paranoia, with the seeds of suffering, I know we have been under a lot of mental programming that you have to suffer to get the things that you want. You got to do things you don't want to do. That's not true at all. That's not true. That's an illusion that you can actually break through. Okay. Your perspective is again very valuable. You're going to need to love the things that you do, or else you're going to be moving in a conditional love kind of situation where this is just supposed to boost your ego but doesn't really represent your authentic self. Okay. And that is more important than anything else. Okay. So if you're right now you're studying whether or not I don't like doing this thing, or I don't want to be part of this organization because of whatever reason, but it looks good on paper, that's not enough. Not in these times. Okay? You must balance your passions. Balancing your passions therefore balances your pentacles, therefore balances your emotions, and also balances your thoughts. Okay? So across all planes. Okay? So just be mindful of that. Okay? Remember, we don't react out of fear. Okay, so if anything right now is like, oh, I'm scared, I don't get this thing, so I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night and just start applying to random jobs that have nothing to do with my passions, let it go. Let all your time, energy, and attention be put into the things that you actually love. That's going to be the things that bring forth the most fruit. Okay? I do have to say this because I just heard it too. It's someone in my court. It's like, what's wrong with homosexuality? There's nothing wrong with homosexuality, but if you don't want these seeds to be planted in your brain, I'm telling you to be mindful of it. There should be boundaries for that. Like I said, establish your boundaries. Okay. Um, Just like I don't watch or intake certain things anymore because I start realizing how much your brain starts absorbing things, and how much that becomes more into your actual reality. Okay, so just be mindful of it. Okay, if that's something, I'm just letting you know that on his page he does happen to give you some really good things to unlock. He literally calls it brainwashing, which he knows he's doing. So just also be mindful of that. I'm very mindful of people who are trying to put me under hypnosis and for what reason. All right. And yes, you're going to be paying the most expensive thing in the world, which is your attention. Okay, but he has definitely helped. So I do promote that on the page because he has helped me too. Okay, in times when I was experiencing psychosis in the most deepest levels. Okay, um, but no matter what, you're going to be provided with the tools and things that are needed in order to get out of any situation. Okay, so he was one of the tools, one of the avenues provided to help me gain some insight. Okay, all actions are made toward my best possible timeline. I pray for the best possible outcome for all those involved. Remember to keep your boundaries, whatever situation this is helping you with. If you guys would like a personal reading, hit me up on Instagram and I'll be more than happy to get into what exactly it is for you. Remember, this is a collective reading. Um, yeah, and that's that. But I would say if what I am saying, the first thing that came into your mind, that's for particular someone, the first thing that when I said all this stuff came to your mind, that's what we're talking about. Okay? You don't have to overthink this stuff. All right? Whatever that thing was, the answer is no, plain and simple. Okay? Because you've already gained the perspective. Uh, so don't go backwards. You've already gained the perspective. Don't go backwards, and your perspective is valuable. All right? All right. You guys, what is that? Oh, okay. So they're saying not to wait. It's not a waiting game situation. Okay, I know I read that, the Two of Wands, but it's in reverse. It's because the waiting energy is what's causing your paranoia. Okay, you need to be in a position where you're no longer emotionally dependent on your reality changing. Okay, that's something you learn on his page. Okay, you need to become to a state of mind, right? Because this is going to prevent the anxiousness and the paranoia. Okay, where you're comfortable with your reality staying exactly how it is right now. This is where you don't lose any of your current frequency or energy, right? And you can use that energy now to create the reality in which you do want to by doing a little bit, just enough for what it is that you want to experience in the next level. Okay, because I don't know if you noticed yet, but this is all about cycles, right? It's a cyclic thing, and then everybody gets what they whatever they sowed. Okay, I know you don't have to suffer to sow. This is why some people don't have to do that much things. It's not about working hard. It's not about any of that stuff. I don't know why this keeps slowing down. But it's not about any of that stuff. It has to do with your resonance and your frequency and your heart's desire. Okay, and when you're moving in a balanced state, you end up attracting opportunities, people, places, and things that coincide with what's in your heart. The most important thing. Okay, the most electromagnetic thing. So things start coming to you. You start actually everything that you are asking for. You start it starts racking up. Okay, it's what your heart wants. Okay, so it's not about. It literally has nothing to do with anything outside of you, unless you're co-creating a world with someone. All right, and in that case, if you're co-creating a world with someone, whether it be any kind of entity, your your hearts have to be in alignment. When it's no longer in alignment, okay, it's scatta scatta. You start, one goes this way, the other one goes that way, but you both get what you want. Okay, that's why it doesn't make sense arguing with people. It really doesn't. Okay, your heart will align you to whatever reality that it is that you're supposed to be experiencing. Okay, so the answer is no. You don't have to jump on anyone's bandwagon. You don't have to be part of any cliques. You just have to be comfortable in your current reality, and then balance the thoughts, emotions, right? Your energy in the physical. Okay? And just commit to the things that you care about, your passions. What are things that you like? Internal, less external. Okay? This is part of that shadow work as well. Okay? Um, in your isolation, you start shaping your destiny. Okay? In your isolation, you start shaping your destiny. That's very, very important. Okay? This way, you know the supporting characters in your world are actually meant to be there. Okay? Um, it gets really tricky when you're in a world and you're like, I don't like these projections, this, da, because it's external validated. All right. When you become internally validated, everything falls into place. Okay. You start triggering that God gene. Okay. Where it's like, okay, boom. All right. And this is where it's effortless to pray for the best possible outcome for all those involved because you understand resonance. Everyone's living the life in which they want to live. All right. And then when you're trying to shift your reality, what's going to happen is that your past is going to try to keep you in resonance with us. Hey, stay with us. Stay. But you want, your spirit is calling for you to do something more, something bigger, something that's more fulfilling in your heart space. All right. And that's when psychosis starts happening. All right. That's when you start being like, my spirit's over here, but my reality is over here. How do we make this in balance? How do we get this into alignment? You have to be in solitude, one, and you need to disconnect. Okay? Disconnect the best ways that you know how. In this way, you're putting that time energy into aligning with the reality of your true choice. Okay? Misalignment is hell. Okay? That's when people are experiencing a lot of hell. Okay? So, change your foundational beliefs to things that are solid. Okay? So things that feels correct in your DNA, like in your genetics. Like, yes, I agree with this on a soul level. Okay, my ancestors agree with it on a soul level. Okay, my spirit guides agree with it on a soul level because it's not just you. We are literally all connected. Okay, um, so yes, that's the last thing I want to say, and then I pray for the best possible outcome for all those involved. All right, I do have a question though. I know it's getting long, but maybe I should take it offline. But I do want to ask a question for spirit because remember, I'm just a talking mouthpiece at this point. All right, very, this is not like an egoic conversation. Um, but humbly, I'm going to ask the question, well, how can I pray for the best possible outcome for all involved if I want this and the opposite wants that? Okay, I already heard the answer. So the beginning of this whole thing was, I just said, was that everyone gets the reality in which they are resonating at. Okay? One does not necessarily affect the other. It's like the yin and yang sign. Okay? So one has to exist and for the other one to be an option. Okay? This has to exist for this one to be an option, or it's not really freedom of choice. Okay? It's actually enslavement. Okay? So just be mindful of that. All right? Because if it's not in your resonance, it just will not be in your reality. All right? So you don't have to worry about what anybody else is doing, saying, doing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You just have to live your lived experience and then continue to create that world, embolden that world. Okay? And you don't have to wait because you already know it's going to happen. Okay? You don't have to wait. It's not a waiting game. It's a knowing that it's already in the works because your heart has already desired it. Okay? Stay present, everybody.